Ross Matthews, 21 years old, and I'm a goalkeeper from Blairgowrie, and I'm currently serving my time as an apprentice electrician in my second year.
How you got to Montrose?
I think I've been here for about 4 years now. I spent a lot of my youth football at Dundee when I was younger, and funnily enough I actually started initially for my dad's team and I was a striker, which a lot of people probably don't know that. So I signed for Dundee when I think it was 10, under 11s it would have been, as a right winger, and then at times never had a goalkeeper, so I found my way back and I loved every minute of it, and it's brought me to where I am just now. And yeah, things never worked out there and I got the opportunity to come here at under 18s level to Montrose, and it's one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. The family club here, and just everybody's so welcoming since I've walked through the door, and it's just loving every minute of it just now. Yeah, it's a really good atmosphere. Obviously Davey, he came in the summer along with Cammy, and it's really freshened things up, I would say. And young big Cammy, he comes down from Aberdeen, he's out on loan as well, so between the four of us it's a really good mix and everybody gels, and I think it's just a good environment to be part of. All look after each other. You know what it's like, the goalies always got to look after each other, so it's brilliant. You can always go to any of them for information or pick their brain about anything, and we all want to help each other to try and be as good as we can be, really, because we all want to improve. We're all in that position, we're all driven to be as good as we can be, so if we can all do that together, then it's a good feeling.
On the field, off the field?
Yeah, I mean, my mum and dad, since I was young, have been amazing with me. They just about drove me all over the country when I was young, which I've always wanted to give something back to them. And they've probably got to be my biggest influences from day one, and even to my granny and granddad. Whenever mum and dad weren't available, they'd be there for me. So I've been lucky, I would say, to have that support from them. And I just want to try and repay it back to them as much as I can, and hopefully I'm starting to do that just now.
In terms of paying it back, what would you give? What would you say to aspiring teenagers who want to, live the dream of being a professional footballer, but like yourself, you've got a trade? How important is that?
Yeah, I think it's massive to get yourself. Obviously, when I was young, I had the dream of full-time football. I only ever seen full-time football as a way to go, so for me it was a reality check, and looking back on it, I had to go out and get myself a job, and it's one of the best things I think I had to do, because if football doesn't work out, then you have something to fall back on. And obviously I still want to achieve as high as I can go with football, but if I can get a trade behind me, then it puts me in a very good place on and off the park.
So when you've not got working, applying your trade on the field and getting on with a trade off it, what interests do you have?
I like to go to the gym. I try and go to the gym as much as I can. I like to go opposite nights to when I have training, so I try and get there about 3 times a week. I also enjoy just spending time with my pals. At times Saturday nights is probably the main one, which when you're young you've got to enjoy. I think it's a massive part in the club as well. Everybody, there's a togetherness we have team nights out. There's a real good bond and it brings everybody together. But no, for me it's just a pretty simple life of going to the gym and I just see my pals, and spending time. I actually go for tea on a Friday night with my granny and granddad. I do that every week. That's my go-to. It's a good question, and it's probably it's a real mixture of. It's actually hard to describe, because you could put on any radio station. At work I've got the bosses, he's like your Radio X, your old sort of types of music, whereas I'm probably more like your Capital radio stations like that. So I could listen to anything and I'd probably enjoy it. I've just probably opened up to so much that I actually couldn't pin it down to one right now.
Is that same for movies?
Movies, yeah, I actually don't. Surprisingly enough, I don't watch a huge amount of movies, but there's one. Me and my brother, we tend to always be watching Still Game. That's probably my favourite series. Me and him can always go back to it, and it's we never get bored of it, no matter how many times we watch the same episode, I think.
In terms of you saying earlier about your parents taking you all across the country, and obviously I'm sure you maybe have been abroad. Is there any places, holidays that you remember that stand out or you'd like to go to?
Um, and we went on a family holiday to Florida. It was when I was in towards the end of primary school, and my brothers and stuff were moving on from high school. So I think it was our last family holiday together, all of us together, was which was really good actually. It was at the time I hadn't been on a huge amount of holidays abroad, so it was seeing Florida. It was pretty special. It was something. It was just totally different to what it is here, and it's something I'll not forget. That's for sure.
So you're in a team with quite a lot of different personalities, different people. If none of you were playing football and you were just catching up as mates in a pub, who would be talking about their exploits as a comedian?
Oof. Exploits as a comedian. Craig Brown, I think, would be the one that's up there. He's probably the life of the dressing room. I would say he's always got a story for the boys. That's for sure. Every Tuesday, or whether it's a Thursday or a Saturday, he's the one he's either been up to something at the weekend, or he's had a bad week.
In terms of who would be the DJ?
That's also Craig Brown. He's the man with the speaker. And he's got very good tunes, I would say. The boys do enjoy them, and I enjoy them myself as well. Gets the boys going for a game.
Who's the businessman? Who's got the next big idea?
The businessman, I'd have to say Winker. With his company, definitely I would say Winker. He's the one that's got switched on and got the brains, and seems to be doing all right for himself.
Who's the wise man of the team? Who would you go for advice?
Wise man. I think it would have to be probably Dillo. Dillo's he's always got time for you. He does. He's a gentleman, that's for sure. And you could approach him with anything, problems on and off the park, and he's the calm head and the experienced head that would help you as much as he can.
Who's the TV movie star?
TV movie star. Good question. I could see Blair, or maybe a Liam, and for the movie star I could definitely see one of those two being involved in the movie setup.
A manager in the making.
Andrew Steves. He's the man that knows everything about football in the dressing room. He lives and breathes it, I think. As much as he gets a bit of stick for it at times, I could definitely see him being a manager in the future.
Lastly, what message do you have for the supporters?
Just thank you for everything in the last 4 years. Obviously coming through from being a young boy here, you have made me feel so welcome, and I love it every time I pull on the jersey for the club, and hopefully we can have a lot more successful times ahead.